Hi there, my name is Kumi. Thank you so much for joining me. In this episode, I'll be sharing with you how I cut and sew my top. As the tutorial proceeds, I will also be sharing with you the mistakes you should avoid so your outcome can even come out a lot better than mine. So I'm going to leave you briefly to observe the style, then we get into it. This is the fabric I'll be using. You need about 1.5 yard of fabric to make the top. I've come down by 1 inch from the rough edge downwards. So this first line is my starting point. The second, which is 15.5, is my waist, and the length of the blouse is 25. I have added 0.5 emin allowance to it. I want the wideness of the neckline to be 3 inches. My shoulder is 15, half of that is 7.5. From that 7.5, I will mark my preferred sleeve length. Can you see? This is 7.5. You won't be adding sewing allowance to the shoulder. Instead, just place your preferred sleeve length. Mine is 9. So to that 9 inches, I will add 1.5 emin allowance to the sleeve. Now at that 1.5, I'll come down by 1.5 again for the shoulder slope. This is 3 inches, the wideness of the neckline. I'll be connecting it to the shoulder slope. Can you see? The depth of the neckline is going to be zero point 0.5. I just feel because the front is going to be deep, the back should be high. So I'll be using zero point 0.5 as the depth of my back neckline. Mind you, this piece we are working on is the back piece. So give it a slight curve, and right here come up by zero point 0.5. At the shoulder slope, come up by zero point 0.5 as well. That's going to be our sewing allowance. You know you are going to join it at the shoulder, so this is the allowance for that. The next thing I'm going to do is to determine how wide I want my sleeve to be. I want it to be 16. Half of 16 is 8. I will add 0.5 inch sewing allowance to it. Now place your tape like this all the way to the hemming allowance you give your sleeve. So come right here and see if that's what you have. So I'm behind by a few inches, so I'm just going to connect. So I'll be using my hip measurement. My hip is 41 divided by 4 plus 0.5. It gives me 10.7, but I will just approximate it and use 11. So I'll mark 11 all the way to the hem of the blouse. Don't forget the length of my blouse is 25 inches, and I just added 0.5 inch for hemming. I'll show you how I'm going to fold the hem. So come to the starting point like this and see what you have all the way to this point. So I have 10 inches. I'll come to this side, placing my tape on the starting line like I did on the other side, and I'll mark 10 inches. With the head of my ruler, I'm going to make a straight line. Then I'll come down by 2 inches and give the region a slight curve. After this, we trim out. I will come to the side of the back piece, and I'm going to mark 6 inches. That's my preference. You can use whatever you want. You remember that the sewing allowance I gave this top is zero point 0.5. I divided my hip by 4 and added zero point 0.5, right? So I'll mark 3 inches here, which is half of the 6 inches I marked on the side. I'll come in by zero point 0.5 inch, my sewing allowance now, and I'll connect like this, giving it a slight curve. So I have 6 inches here. Half of that is 3 inches. So that's what I marked here. You can use 3.5. I won't really recommend, it's going to be jumpy at the back. You don't want it to jump so much too. So cut it out. And this is what we have. This is the front piece. Everything is literally the same aside the button allowance and the depth of the neckline. Other than that, every other thing is the same. So I have marked my shoulder. This is me indicating my sleeve length, the sewing allowance. I'm coming down by 1.5, indicating my neckline, you know. The depth of the front neckline is going to be 8 inches. Don't worry, it won't show your cleavage. It's going to overlap, so it won't show. And then there is a way I'm going to cut it. I'll show you. You can choose to make your V a little curvy or a sharp straight V. I'll be using a sharp straight V. So this is what I have. Everything is every other thing is the same with the back, just like I said earlier. So I have marked 6 inches on the side, as you can see. Look at the armhole. um I just realized I didn't had 0.5, which is my sewing allowance, so I'm going to connect. This is my this line is not needed, so I'm just going to curve it like this. If I hadn't curved the back, I would have just placed the pattern on the front, but there is a slight difference. That's why I'm going over the measurement again. So I'll come to the center and I'll mark 0.5 inch. Guys, I later increased this to 9 inches. So I made an high waist trouser. At first I was scared. I didn't want my tummy to show, but I later made a really high waist trouser. So um although I marked 2 inches here, guys, I later increased it to 4 inches. I wanted it to be really slanty, so I later increased it to 4 inches. Come in here by 0.5. Luckily for us, we have a line that is already 0.5 inch. So I'm going to connect like this. So whenever I'm making a top that is going to have a button overlap and a little bit of slantiness in front, this is how I love to do it. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't quite know how to explain, but if you don't experience it, you won't really know. Trust me, it will come out well. This is how I love to do it. But if you like the first method, by all means, you can give it a try. But I would recommend this. So I will come to the neckline and I will do it the same way too. I'm going to connect with my chalk and I will trim out. This is what we have. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut facing for the front. I don't really have much fabric left, so I'm going to make do with what I have. I'm going to place it like this. I will trim out, split this place open, then trim the upper part out as well. So I used a total of 3.5 yards of fabric for trouser and top. So it's not like 1.5 won't be enough, but the way I placed my trouser is why I'm experiencing shortage of fabric for my blouse. If you bought 1.5 yard straight away, it's going to be enough. So I'm going to be using a wideness of 2 inches for my facing. That's because I do not have enough. um if you are using a 1.5 yard, I would really recommend that you use a wider facing. You can even use 4. Yeah, so but because mine is short, when I'm done stitching, I'm going to place hemming gum there and I'm going to give it a very good press so it doesn't flip and stress me. So I have two of the facing. These strips are going to be my side belt. I'm going to fold like this and I'm going to stitch. I'm going to close one side and leave the other side open. So this is one piece from the front and I'm just labeling it so it's easy for me to identify. So I'm going to place it like this and I'm going to stitch with 0.5. When I'm done, I will top stitch and I'm going to overlock the edge. This is the back piece. I've gone ahead to cut the facing as well. You all know how we cut facings, right? You place your fabric underneath, trim off the neckline, and then you mark your preferred whiteness. So I'm using 3 inches because I don't want it to be popping out. And I have no intention of using hemming gum to glue it. So I'm just going to use 3 inches. I'm going to open it up, place the right side of my facing on the right side of my back piece. I'm going to stitch all around. I will top stitch and I will overlock the edge of the facing. I've done exactly what I said and this is what I have. I haven't given it a press yet. So I'm doing this with a generator. That's why I've not pressed yet. So this is my front piece. This is what I have. I top stitched. This is a close look. I top stitch and this is what I have. Place the right side of the front piece on the right side of the back piece. Ensure it aligns well and stitch. Come to this side and stitch as well. Then when I'm done with that, I'm going to overlock the edge of the top. These are the belts. Can you see? One side is open and one side is closed. So before I proceed, I'm going to notch the waist. I should have done this at the process of cutting, but it's not too late. So before I join the side of my top, I'm going to give the waist a notch. That's because I want my belt to be at the center of the waistline. I want it to be zero point 0.5 to the left, zero point 0.5 to the right. Do you understand? My belt is going to be placed at the center. So I have stitched, I have overlocked, I've overlocked the M as well. Remember I gave the M of the top zero point 0.5, right? That's because I'm just going to fold it a little like this and I'm going to stitch. The top does not have a straight M, so folding it is going to be really difficult. So it's better you just do it like this. I gave my sleeves 1.5 sewing allowance. I'll fold first into 0.7, then fold again. If you don't want your body to show like me, you will need an high waist pant trouser. So the trouser for this is black, but because I really need you to see the top unhindered, that's why I'm wearing a pant with a contrasting color. Also, guys, the buttons are simply for decorative purpose. What do I mean? I simply overlap the two front pieces while I stitch down the buttons. What I'm saying in essence is there are no button holes. I just stitch down the buttons and guess what? I can wear the top comfortably because it's free. I mean, I used my hip measurement, so the bust, the waist, everything can pass. I would really love to hear from you. Kindly leave me comments in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more easy tutorials like this. Till the next time when I come your way. Bye for now.